Toronto Danforth.
Thank you, Speaker. To the Premier, yesterday Ontarians learned that they will be paying another $70 a year on their hydro bill to pay for Liberal waste and mismanagement of the hydro system. But instead of trying to make things better and using our strategic energy assets like Hydro One to help people conserve, to help them get their bills under control, the Liberals are privatizing Hydro One and handing control over to Bay Street. Privatization is going to drive up hydro bills just like it's always done. The OEB just approved another rate increase starting May 1st. Can the Premier tell Ontarians how much more she expects rates to go up under her privatization plan?
Lower than in the
Premier.
Minister of Energy.
Mr. Speaker,
in
December 2013, we issued a long-term energy plan, Mr. Speaker. There was one page in that had particular attention from the opposition and others, Mr. Speaker. That was our projected rate increases over the next 4 or 5 years, Mr. Speaker. Well, the reality is, Mr. Speaker, we've been reducing the costs in the sector, and the announcement of a rate increase yesterday is less than what was predicted, Mr. Speaker, because we're getting a better handle on the sector, we're reducing our costs in the sector, Mr. Speaker, and we're making efforts towards the ratepayer in many other ways as well, Mr. Speaker, and I'll deal with that in a supplementary.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. And again, back to the Premier. Ontarians have bills almost twice as high as people get in Manitoba and Quebec, where their public utilities are owned by the people. We are watching our rates go up faster, and what you put in place will only make it worse. The Premier hasn't learned the lesson that public hydro is more affordable. Her privatization plan is going to be bad for conservation, bad for innovation, bad for jobs, bad for business, bad for the people of Ontario. Premier, this is a lousy plan. When are you going to pull the plug on privatization?
Mr. Speaker, we can expect a lot of rhetoric coming from the opposition parties, Mr. Speaker. The reality is that the electricity prices in Ontario, Mr. Speaker, are lower than 3 other provinces, Mr. Speaker.
Carry on, please.
They're lower than 3 other provinces, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Manitoba and Quebec is lower than us because they have legacy hydro projects, Mr. Speaker, that enable that. In Canada, we're in the middle of the pack, Mr. Speaker, and we hear them also say that we've got the highest rates in North America. They should look at Detroit, they should look at New York, they should look at Boston, Mr. Speaker, where it's 18, 19, 20 cents per kilowatt hour, Mr. Speaker. We are lowering the pressures on price, Mr. Speaker. We are lowering that as well, Mr. Speaker, by doing what we're doing with Hydro One, Mr. Speaker. It'll be more efficient, Mr. Speaker, in the long run. The ratepayers will be protected. Our plan is working.